So looking at learning theories, on Blackboard there's some links to Kolb's learning cycle and as an interactive site, and also Honey and Mumford's learning styles. So looking at Kolb, learning is a process by where knowledge is created through the transformation of experience, Kolb 1984. So there's some key information which is available to help you support you in this process and have a look at it in a little more detail, and some little interactive tasks and things you can do on learning which you may want to have a go at. So we looked at this in reflection, but also it's important as part of the learning cycle is Kolb's learning cycle. It's effective as a person seems to progress through the stages. So we concrete experiences by doing and having a go at them. We reflect and observe, so review and reflecting on experiences. We have the abstract and conceptualization, so conclude and learn from experiences, and we have active experimentation. So if we put in a practical context, we concrete experience, we might actually coach a session. We might then go away and reflect, how did this happen, what went well, review that, what can I conclude from this learning experience, and how then I can action plan for future and try out new ideas. Okay, so I've given a little practical coaching example. Can you think of any other examples that you could apply Kolb's learning cycle to on an individual learning experience? So jot down some ideas of what you could use this cycle for in your own personal environment, in whether that's work, studies, or your personal life. Okay, now we've got Honey and Mumford. Honey and Mumford looked at learning styles and were developed by Peter Honey and Alan Mumford based on the work of Kolb, so that it's kind of off the back of that. And they identified 4 distinct learning styles, which you've got activist, theorist, pragmatist, and reflector. So activist is having an experience, the reflector is reviewing the experience, the theorist is concluding from the experience, and the pragmatist is planning the next steps. There's online tests that you can do for this, and we're going to be looking at that further, and you will probably, when you do this, align yourself to maybe not fully one of these, but have a more kind of link to 1 or 2 of them. I think when I did the test last, I was a pragmatist and a activist, so they were my main traits from doing this Honey Mumford test. Honey and Mumford, 1989, suggest that these learning approaches that individuals naturally prefer, and they recommend that it's around maximising one's personal self-learning development. It's basically understanding their learning style and seeking out opportunities to help you learn using that style. So as I've said, I know that when I did the test, I was hitting in those 2 areas. So I understand that's my style of learning, and now I can seek out opportunities that can help me learn in that way. And that's how I'm going to remember information and learn and develop from that. Again, here you can see there's going to be a link on Blackboard to Honey and Mumford's learning styles, becoming a successful manager of yourselves and others, which you can actually watch and observe and give a little bit more insight in a practical context of how this learning style approach works. So moving on, looking at learning capacity, an individual's learning capacity varies considerably. It's dependent on ability. Maybe it might be a certain topic you've done before and you have a level of ability already, or it might be something completely new to yourself. It's around your motivation. So if you're already doing a topic or subject that you're really interested in, then you're going to be highly motivated. Whereas if you're maybe disinterested, this can affect your learning capacity. Your personality. So some of people's personalities will impact their learning capacities, and obviously then your learning style. And having an awareness of your own learning processes will impact your learning capacity. So what we're trying to aim to do is make you all aware of where you sit and your best learning approaches and your roles within a team and your reflection and how you learn and the best style that suits you to help you then move forward with your studies and self-development. Awareness of the learning process means that we're learning how to learn. So basically in university, students are taught some study skills which include learning how to seek information and when they're needed and how to use them appropriately. What I'm trying to get you to start actually taking some ownership of understanding your learning capacity, your learning approaches and your learning styles. So in summary, learning is an internal activity and a key personal self-development skill. In addition to that, learning is not something that can be directly observed by others. We can, however, observe others as results of their learning in ourselves and others. This is why in formal learning situation, assessment is a crucial part of that teaching process. So I can make sure, we're doing assessments to make sure that you understand what we're teaching you. And it's almost assessing ourselves. So if I've done a module where everyone's failed it, then I haven't done my job. Whereas if I've taught you something and you've gone away and done assignments on it and you've understood it and you've done some own independent learning and study around it and you've passed and you've done really well, then I'm doing a good job. Assessment is an important part of that learning process and testing it. The results of academic assessments essays are simply attempts to measure how an individual has learned but cannot measure the actual learning process. Learning brings about changes in the way we act, think or feel about ourselves, other people and the world around us. Such changes may be permanent or temporary depending on your own perceptions or importance of relevance of the information gained. So there'll be key things that you'll study and you'll go, right, okay, you've learned this, I'm going to use this forever. And there'll be things you'll learn and it'll be temporary. You might use it for a short period of time. It might go to your, kind of forgotten information and you won't remember it and use it again. So there's different things you're going to learn across your course that are going to stick with you for life, and the things that you're going to dip in and dip out of. So it's about kind of the challenges of this and kind of reacting and using this information. Okay, so now we've kind of finished the main content of this session on learning styles. I've got a task for you now. Within Blackboard, you'll find the two online learning style questionnaires, the VARC and the Honey and Mumford. The links are attached. What I'd actually like you to do, because I said, you are the centre of this learning process, you need to understand how you learn. I'd like you to have a go at filling out these two questionnaires and get an understanding of whether you're a visual, auditory, reader, writing or kinesthetic learner, or whether you're maybe an activist, pragmatist, reflector or theorist, and that's going to help you move forward with your learning and the way that you work.